Welcome to Sidekicks with Heather Goodenkoff and Lolo, where we chat with your favorite authors and their pets. And as you can see, I don't have my sidekick with me, but it's Lolo's loss because today I get to chat with New York Times bestselling award-winning author, Jeff Abbott. Jeff is the author of many different suspense and thriller novels, and he's been called one of the best thriller writers in the business by the Washington Post. And by the Library Journal, they say Abbott is a master of misdirection. So thank you, Jeff. I've been waiting for this for so long. I'm so happy it worked out that we could chat together. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Heather. I'm having to misdirect my dogs right now so they'll behave. This is we have two cardigan Welsh corgis, and this boy right here is Kai, and he is 12 years old. And this is Georgie, and she is 15 years old.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to give them a treat real quick. Where did I put the treats? I put them behind my back. Misdirection. So they'll be
pretty energetic for dogs their age.
They are. I mean, definitely they've gotten older. It's not like when they were, we got Georgie when she was 2.5, and we got Kai as a puppy. And so, yes, their energy level is still pretty strong. But yeah, they're really fun, sweet dogs. They're a joy to us.
So now, are the corgis the kinds of dogs like the Queen of England raises, correct?
She has Pembroke Welsh corgis. Georgie and Kai are cardigan Welsh corgis. They are a separate breed. They're a little bigger in the shoulders and the back, and they have tails, unlike the Pembroke Welsh corgis. So, but like those corgis, they are herding dogs, and that was their original function in Wales, was to be herders.
Okay, very interesting.
That's why they're low to the ground, so the cattle could not kick them.
Oh,
that was why they were bred that way. So.
Wow. I'm learning a lot today. So, how did you come up with the names Kai and Georgie?
Kai we picked just because we wanted a Welsh name, since it was a Welsh dog. And that's a popular boy's name in Wales. Mm-hmm. Georgie, she was a retired show dog, so she actually had this really long, complicated name for her show dog work. But it was her nickname was the same as a friend's daughter. So we just decided we wanted kind of a plucky 1920s or 30s name for her, because it sort of fit her personality. And I said something like Georgie Girl, like the old song, you know, hey there, Georgie Girl. And the family just sort of glommed onto that. Our boys just glommed onto that. So that became her name.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Now, why corgis?
Well, we had not had a dog as a family, and we kind of were researching breeds, and we thought this breed would just sort of be suited to us. Cardigans are often described as a big dog in a little package, and that sort of appealed to us. And they're very sweet, intelligent dogs. They're very protective, very territorial. And anyway, they were just their temperament was a good match for ours. Of course, they have their own distinct personalities, even though the breed has a certain temperament, but yeah.
So what is their favorite pastime? What do they like to do?
Kai likes to play with toys, which he will go and show us that he's holding a toy, and we'll say, oh, do you have your baby? And he'll just be all excited, and he'll want to run around. He doesn't usually want to bring him. They're not retrievers. He just wants us to see that he has it, you know. But he likes to play. And Georgie likes to just sit outside and just kind of chill. She's a very cat-like dog. He's very social, and she's like, oh, I can take you or leave you. But she doesn't need company quite as much as he does.
They're just like kids. They have
are.
their own separate personalities, no rhyme or reason. They just kind of do their own thing, and we love them for it. So.
Yeah. They're funny together because they're clearly very, very bonded. right? And he was a puppy, and she was already grown. So she's definitely, even though she's quieter, she's definitely the alpha. And you know, he sometimes waits for her to, when if we let him out, he'll just sit by the door until she comes out, and then he'll, you know, want to go do whatever she's going to go do. So
They're sidekicks to each other as
they
well.
are sidekicks to each other, absolutely.
Well, and I know that you and your family went through a really traumatic experience a few years ago, and your dogs were there right along with you, correct? Can you tell us
Yeah.
about what that
um,
story?
our house was struck by lightning,
Goodness.
and it burned, and was a total loss. You know, this was obviously upsetting for the dogs. But you know, one thing that kind of really struck us, the first house we were living in, you know, while we were determining whether that what was left of the house, how it was going to be torn down, and you know, how were we going to rebuild, was only a few houses away from us. There was a house that was available for us to rent and stay in. And I would, you know, my wife and I would take the dogs on walks, and we would get to the shell of our house in our yard, and they would insist on coming into the yard, and then they would lay down, and
Oh,
they didn't want to budge.
oh,
They knew that was home, even with the house being gone. And when we rebuilt on this same foundation. So the layout of the house is very similar. So even though it was a brand new house, they immediately went to what had been, you know, their spots, and would, and those were their spots again immediately, you know, like the first time that they came into the house. So they were just very aware, and they were a great comfort to us during a difficult time.
I can imagine. And I mean, dogs have long memories. I know. Well, we just recently moved to a new house, and it's really thrown Lolo for a loop. And it wasn't as such a traumatic experience. And it's hard. And they're creatures of habit,
Yep.
and like what they like. And but they're so sweet. And I love that you were able to build on your home spot again.
Yes, we were really lucky in that regard, you know. So
Well, it reminds me a little bit of that. I think it was a book and a movie, but it was the Incredible Journey when the dogs
yes.
um,
Yeah,
find
yeah.
their way back
The
home.
two dogs and the cat that get separated and have to go like 1,000 miles, and I think that was based on a true story.
Oh, wow.
That was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
a good one. That was a good one.
yeah,
Do
the
you have?
original, they did a remake. I remember Sally Field did the voice of the cat, but I remember seeing the original when I was little.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah. I was talking with another author, and we were talking about the movie Benji was also a highlight of our childhood.
yep.
Dog Benji. And do you have any other
I
animals?
went to college with the boy who was the boy in Benji.
You did not.
I did. Alan Fusat. Yeah, we were at Rice together. And this is the funny thing. At that point, the original Benji was filmed in a town called McKinney, Texas, north of Dallas, and my family and I were living there when they filmed Benji.
Oh, that's so
Because
cool.
yeah, they actually used like the haunted house, the house that everyone said was haunted in town. You know, is the house in the movie.
Well,
And so that was just wild.
Emily Carpenter is the other author, and we are going to live tweet watching Benji one night. So we're going to invite you to do that.
Yeah, I had classes with Alan. I think it was the only film he ever did. It was kind of he got teased a lot about it in school, but of course everyone thought it was really cool, you know. So
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great. Do you have any other favorite animals from pop culture or literature that you can?
Benji is definitely a favorite. You know, I think in his Dark Materials series by Philip Pullman, with all the characters having the daemons that are animals and become, you know, are sort of a connection to their soul. The character of Pan, who's the main character, Lyra's daemon, and he's always changing into different forms, which is what happens when they're children, and then they take a final form, and he finally became a pine marten. But he was such a great character. I always enjoyed that aspect of those books.
That's so great. That's so great. Did you have pets growing up, Jeff?
I had a dachshund
Mhm.
and I had a schnauzer.
Oh, cute.
So yeah, we did. We were kind of more of a dog family.
We were too. We had all different kinds of animals, but we always had dogs. That was always a constant. What do you think, being a dog owner and having your dogs for so long, what have your pets taught you in life, would you say?
Oh, I think. Oh no, that's hers. Sharing. I think they teach. I would hope that they teach patience,
Mhm.
and I also think they give perspective. Um, sometimes no matter if I've had a bad day, they're always happy to see me. And they life is runs a little more smoother for them. And that's something I think we need to embrace, that things, when things seem bad, they can be bad, but they will get better. um and I just think about what a comfort they have been to us during ups and downs in our lives, and that they're always happy to see us, and they're always loving. And so
Tried and true. Tried
tried
and true.
and true. Yeah.
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 Now I have to ask because my to be read pile is not big enough. What are you reading these days?
Right now, I'm reading Ron Chernow's biography of Alexander Hamilton that inspired the musical. And
Me
it's like
too. I
nine-
heard
are
about
you?
reading that right now too because I saw it on Disney and
No.
I had to find out the story behind it.
I had been meaning to read it for a while, and I finally read it. I'm about 300 pages in, and it's really well done. It's just a big, heavy book to carry.
It is.
Um, but I also just finished a reread of the first half of the Sherlock Holmes canon, which I haven't read in many years. I've read all the stories in the novels before, but it's been a long time, and I decided I was going to do that
Oh, great.
this year.
Yeah,
So
I
I
found that
really enjoyed that.
during the pandemic, it's been really a great time to reread some of my
Yes.
favorites. And I don't know,
Yeah.
it's just
I
comfort.
Yeah, I've been rereading like all the Travis McGee novels by John D. McDonald, and I've also been rereading Josephine Tey. I just reread Brat Farrar. I think she's a wonderful writer who isn't as widely appreciated as she should be. So I have very wide-ranging tastes in mystery. So it has been fun to reread, but I feel like I'm missing out on all the wonderful new books that are coming out.
So many great ones, so many great ones. And talking about a somewhat new release, you recently released your novel, Never Ask Me.
Yeah.
Publishers Weekly described it as cunning and complex. Can you tell, for those readers who haven't had the chance to pick it up yet, what it's about?
It is about a murder that happens in an affluent neighborhood of a woman who is an adoption consultant, and a family that she was particularly close to because she helped them adopt one of their children from overseas. The story is told by the four members of that family, some of whom begin to suspect that other members of the family may have had something to do with the murder. And so it's watching a family kind of not turn on itself, but watching a family trying to decide, what do we do if someone in the family has done this terrible thing? What happens? And of course, then there are lots of twists and turns along the way. But it was fun to write a book with four different point of view characters, a mother, a father, and two teenagers. So I enjoyed getting to write it.
Oh, it sounds amazing. Cannot wait to pick that up. And Jeff, thank you so much for being here with us today. I know readers are going to run out and grab Never Ask Me. And I think we all want to run out and find a corgi to add to our household. They're just absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us as your guests. I love that you do this, and it's just a wonderful thing.
Thanks, Jeff.